Hey, Breakers! Weekend Warrior Nate here, the Overlord, with...
Weekend Warrior Monica, the Wench-Woman.
Here we are with another Malifaux Battle Report. So we're changing the format again a little bit. We've heard a little bit of nausea issues from the direct top down, so we're going to change a different angle, but still keep with the narration play-by-play. Tell us what you think at the end of it. So today's scenario is going to be a reckoning. I will be fielding Lilith and her neverborn.
And I have Rasputina.
Should be a fun little battle. Last time I took on Rasputina, I lost, so here's hoping for the best. It's flank deployment, reckoning, and then our scheme pools are assassinate, distract, line in the sand, plant explosives, and outflank. I have personally selected to reveal, line in the sand, and outflank as my schemes.
And I'm only revealing outflank.
That should be fun. Now we're fighting for the corners. So the crew I'm taking is Lilith with her sister Nikima. Lilith is using Beck and Malifaux, Living Blade, and Rapid Growth as her upgrades. My totem is my Cherub. The rest of my crew rounded out is Lilu, Lilitu, the Black Blood Shaman, and a pair of Terratots.
And I have Rasputina, who's taken Arcane Reservoir, December's Pawn, and Shattered Heart as her upgrades. I also have the Wendigo and the Ice Golem, who has a Sub-Zero upgrade. I have 3 December Acolytes and 2 Ice Gaimen.
December Acolytes. How I despise them. Really good for this scenario. So what are your thoughts going in?
Shoot.
I have to say, since you can deploy on the corners and take the corners very effectively, that's going to be a huge challenge for me to take over.
That would be the deciding factor on taking outflank.
Acolytes are probably going to be a huge boom for this battle for her. For me, my goal was to take advantage of the Terratot speed to get to the corners quickly, but since she's going to be deploying in the corners, that's obviously going to change my initial thoughts. I'm going to have to commit with some force. So it might turn into a fight in the corners. That could be interesting to see what happens there. Usually it's a fight in the middle of the battlefield, so this will be interesting to see us both kind of have to split our forces, or see if one of us decides to split and one decides to wholly commit to try to take at least a corner, since that's 2 victory points to just lock in one corner, with us both having it revealed. Any other thoughts? Nope. Okay then. With that, we'll be back with deployment. Alright, welcome back, Breakers. We're here with our deployment. I will go ahead and go first. I have decided to split my crew into 2 attack groups. I have nestled in the bottom floor of this building Lilith, the Black Blood Shaman, and a pair of Terratots, hopefully taking advantage of their growth options to get some young and matures later down the line. Over here is Nikima, the Lilu, Lilitu, and the Cherub. The hope is to take the corners and try to tank up, but we'll see what happens. Wench-Woman?
I have December Acolyte over here. Let's try and pick off anybody who peeks out through the building. And I have a pair of Acolytes over here and try and do the same thing on that group. I have an Ice Gaimen hiding out in this building over here on the 2nd floor. An Ice Gaimen over here, trying to keep themselves protected a little bit from them so I can see where stuff starts happening. And I just have the Ice Gaimen, or Ice Golem, Wendigo, and Rasputina. Rasputina might have a little bit of an issue with this game with all the line of sight blocking terrain, but we'll see how it goes.
So, important note for those watching. First off, brand new table, hand built by me.
Not that he's proud of it or anything.
Not at all. We've decided to treat all buildings as if there are ladders or walkways or stairwells. So all buildings for movement purposes is not going to be counted as vertical terrain for going up and down. Now if you get pushed or pulled off of a building, then you'll have to suffer fall damage as appropriate. But this is to encourage using the multiple tiers of levels that we have. As you see, she decided to deploy very high, I decided to deploy very low. Now that she's taken the high ground in deployment, means I have to go counter that. We'll see how well that works out for me. So with that, we begin. Winning initiative. The Overlord springs into action with Nikima.
performing a double walk to quickly engage the dual December Acolytes. Using her melee expert, she swings at the Acolyte with a successful attack, inflicting 5 damage. This is responded to by the Wench-Woman activating the Acolyte that was attacked. The Acolyte swings back into Kima for 4 damage, 2 of which is prevented by Soulstone use. Black Blood inflicts damage on both Acolytes, and then the second attack also hits, inflicting 1 damage on Nikima, again inflicting Black Blood on both Acolytes and giving Nikima slow. Overlord's next move is to activate Lilith and perform a walk action. He targets the December Acolyte that was not attacked by Nikima with a lure action. This action succeeds, forcing the December Acolyte to walk towards Lilith. Wench-Woman activates that Acolyte and performs a walk action, engaging Lilith and attempting to swing with a melee attack. The attack misses. Coming to the aid of his partner, Lulu activates, charging the Acolyte to just swing at Lilith. The melee attack hits, inflicting 2 damage and poison +2. The second melee attack also hits, inflicting 2 damage and poison +2.
Not 7.
Activating Wendigo, Wench-Woman performs a walk action, takes a second to explore her options. Seeing nothing worthwhile, decides to perform a second walk with the Wendigo, keeping him in range of Rasputina's Icy Mirror. Activating Totem for Totem, Overlord activates the Cherub and performs a walk action. Tries to check range in an attempt to attack the Wendigo. Failing that, the Overlord then decides to just double walk the Cherub, hiding it behind some cover. Moving to the big guns, Wench-Woman activates the Ice Golem, who performs a double walk. Next up to bat, Overlord activates Lilith, who performs a walk action. She attempts to cast Illusionary Force, but fails. She then charges the Ice Golem. First attack hits, inflicting 1 damage, triggering Bloody Fate, allowing her to draw and discard a card, and triggering Sub-Zero, immediately ending her activation. Wench-Woman's next activation is to activate the remaining Acolyte, targeting Lilith, but due to projectile nature of the shooting attack, forces randomization. Both attacks randomize into the Golem. Both attacks are cheated to miss the Golem. Rushing to Mother's aid, the Overlord has Terratot A activate. It performs a sprint action and destroys a building in the process. The first sprint action is a success. The second sprint action is a fail, allowing it to walk 3 times, and getting itself into a good position on the second floor of the building. Wench-Woman then activates the Ice Gaemon, holding the rock. He performs a double walk action. Overlord then activates Terratot B. Attempts to perform 2 sprint actions, both of which fail, resulting in a double walk. The Wench-Woman responds by activating the Ice Gaemon Spike and performing a double walk, getting it in position for Ice Mirror. Overlord then moves on to the Black Blood Shaman and performs a double walk to get behind some cover. For the final activation, Wench-Woman brings Rasputina to the field. Using Ice Mirror, she targets the Black Blood Shaman through the Ice Gaemon on the building. The first attack hits, inflicting 2 damage and triggering Overpower, in part thanks to December's pawn, allowing her to use a black joker as a red joker. The second attack also targets the Shaman, inflicting an additional 2 damage, with no triggers. Her final action is to target Lilith with December's Curse. After randomization, it does indeed hit Lilith, but the attack misses. This concludes the first turn. 0 victory points earned on either side. Again winning the initiative, Overlord activates Nikima and uses 0 action, Blood for Blood, to do inflict point of damage to herself, triggering Black Blood, killing the Acolyte. She then performs a walk action, targeting the other Acolyte. The attack hits, inflicting 5 damage, killing the Acolyte. granting the Overlord a victory point due to Reckoning. Losing that corner, the Wench-Woman then turns to the Ice Golem, who performs a walk action and targets Lilith with a melee attack. The first attack misses. Using Melee Expert, attacks again. This one hits, inflicting 3 damage and slow, and taking a point of damage himself due to Black Blood. Overlord then activates Terratade, who performs a walk action to engage the Acolyte with a melee attack, which misses. In a surprise twist, the Acolyte then activates and distracts the Terratot, revealing the Wench-Woman's currently unrevealed scheme. He then attempts to attack the Terratot with a melee attack, which misses. Lilith is then activated and targets the Wendigo with Lure, and succeeds, forcing the Wendigo to walk towards her. Feeling successful, she does it again succeeding, bringing the Wendigo towards her. But this proves to be a folly, as the Wench-Woman then activates Wendigo, giving Lilith Distract. But thanks to same oppressive force and same malignant force, whenever one gains a condition, the other gains a condition. Thus, Lilith getting Distract gives Lulu Distract, as the Overlord did not have any cards worth discarding to prevent the transfer of the condition. The Wendigo then attacks Lilith. It hits, inflicting 2 damage. Overlord then activates Lulu, who performs a melee attack on the Wendigo. This attack misses. His second melee attack does hit, inflicting 2 damage and 2 poison. Also, thanks to regeneration and same oppressive force / malignant force, he heals Lilith 1 point. Next up the bat is Rasputina, who targets Lilith, who is engaged with the Ice Golem, using the Ice Gaemon and Icy Mirror. The first attack is randomized and attacks the Golem. December's Curse hits the Golem, inflicting 2 damage, but triggering a blast, also hitting Lilith for 2 points of damage. This triggers Black Blood, doing 1 point of damage to the Ice Golem. Rasputina casts December's Curse again. This time the randomization does hit Lilith. The attack hits, thanks to December's Pawn using her Black Joker as a Red Joker, inflicts 2 damage, which Lilith prevents 1 with Soulstone. Again, 1 damage to Black Blood to the Golem. This triggers Overpower though, which immediately hits Lilith again, this time using a Red Joker, for an additional 2 damage, but both damage is prevented using Soulstones. One final December's Curse is randomized, again hitting Lilith, once again for 2 damage, and once again, thankfully, being prevented with Soulstones, thus triggering Overpower again, which immediately targets Lilith, and this attack misses. Emerging from that action as a bloody mess, Lilith activates and targets the Golem with a melee attack. The attack hits, inflicting 6 damage on the Golem, killing it. After taking her damage from Explosive Demise, she performs a walk action and performs a Malifaux Force, Illusionary Force, successfully passing and trying to block some line of sight. Knowing that Lilith's almost dead, the Wench-Woman activates the Ice Gaemon and targets her with an Ice Shard attack. The first attack hits, inflicting 1 point of damage. The second attack misses. Overlord then activates the Cherub, who performs a walk action and targets the Ice Gaemon on top of the building. This attack misses. The Wench-Woman responds by having the Ice Gaemon target the Cherub in turn. Both Ice Shard attack attempts miss. For the final activation of the turn, the Overlord activates Terratot B, who attempts to perform 2 sprint actions. Both actions fail, resulting in a simple double walk. Concluding turn 2, bring our victory point total to Overlord 1, scored by Reckoning this turn, and Wench-Woman 1, scored by Distract this turn. Winning initiative, the Overlord activates Lilith, trying to get her out of harm's way by directly engaging Rasputina. After performing a double walk, she uses her last action to perform a melee attack, which hits, inflicting 4 damage on Rasputina, who successfully prevents 1 with Soulstone. Rasputina follows this action up by targeting Lilith with Biting Chill. The attack misses. She attempts to perform 2 walk actions, both of which fail due to disengaging strikes. Her last action is to grant herself +2 armor. Cherub, not wanting to be shot at again by a bunch of ice crystals, targets the Ice Gaemon with a Cupid's Bow attack. This attack hits, inflicting 2 damage, but more importantly, forcing the Ice Gaemon to push off the building inflicting 5 points of fall damage and killing the Ice Gamen outright. He then performs a walk action. The remaining Ice Gamen then targets Lilith, who is currently engaged with Rasputina. Both Ice Shard attacks are randomized, both target Rasputina, and both are cheated to fail. Overlord then activates Nekima, who uses Melee Expert to attack the Wendigo. The attack hits, inflicting 7 damage, killing the Wendigo. She then performs a double walk. Looking for retaliation, the Wench-Woman activates Acolyte C, who performs a walk action and passes his disengaging strike. This sets up the Acolyte to engage the Shaman with a harpoon attack. The attack hits, inflicting 6 damage, killing the Blackblood Shaman. Not one to let his quarry get away, Terratot A activates and charges the Acolyte who just walked away. First melee attack hits, inflicting 1 damage. The second attack misses. Having raided the board, Overlord activates Lilu and Lilith. They both remove their distract condition, leaving just Terratot A with distract. For the final activation, Overlord activates Tot B, who attempts to sprint twice, failing, resulting in a simple double walk, but engaging the Ice Gamen. Completing turn 3, the Overlord scores an additional victory point for Reckoning. Wench-Woman scores nothing this turn, bringing us to a 2-1 total. Winning initiative, and knowing that she needs to turn the tide, Wench-Woman activates Rasputina. She attempts a December's Chill, targeting Lilith, which misses. She then performs a walk action, which succeeds to pass the disengaging strike, and hits Lilith with a December's Curse, inflicting 2 damage, killing Lilith. Her final action is to target Nekima with December's Curse. Hits, once again using December's Pawn to have a black joker count as a red joker, inflicts 5 damage and triggering Overpower, which hits again, doing an additional 4 damage to Nekima. Overlord then activates Terratot A, who attacks Acolyte C. First melee attack hits, inflicting 1 point of damage. The second attack misses. The Rock Gamen then activates and attacks Terratot B. The first attack misses. Second attack hits, inflicting 1 damage and triggering Black Blood. Overlord then responds by activating Terratot B, who hits, inflicting 2 points of damage, killing the Ice Gamen and inflicting 2 damage upon himself. Acolyte then activates and attacks the Terratot with a melee attack, inflicting 4 damage and killing the Terratot. He takes 1 point of damage from Black Blood and then walks to the corner for outflank. Overlord then brings Nekima to the front, performing a double walk action, engaging Rasputina, and using Melee Expert to attack her. The attack hits, inflicting 4 damage, which Rasputina prevents 2 of using Soul Stones. Wench-Woman, out of models, allows the Overlord to activate Lilith, who performs a double walk to get on top of the building and set herself up in the corner for outflank. Lilu then performs a lie in wait for a 3-inch push, followed by a double walk, trying to approach the center line to set up a line in the sand. Final activation of the turn is Cherub, who performs a double walk. This concludes turn 4, with the Wench-Woman scoring a victory point for Reckoning, bringing us to a tie, 2-2. Winning initiative for turn 5, the Wench-Woman activates her only model, Rasputina, and performs a walk action to get close enough to attempt December's Chill. The attack misses. She uses her next action point to attempt a walk, which fails the disengaging strike. Her final action is to give herself armor +2. Nekima then activates and retaliates by attacking Rasputina with a melee attack. It hits for 3 damage, but triggering Sub-Zero, thus ending Nekima's activation. Overlord then activates Lilith, who deploys a Scheme Marker, followed by Lilu, who deploys a Scheme Marker, pushes 3 inches due to lie in wait, and then performs a walk action, centering himself on the position in case a further turn would come up. Final activation of the game is the Cherub, who performs a double walk engaging the Acolyte. By engaging the Acolyte, he is denied the outflank, bringing the game to a close. The Overlord scores 2 victory points for Outflank, 1 victory point for Line in the Sand, and 2 victory points for Reckoning, bringing him to a total of 5 victory points. The Wench-Woman scores 1 victory point to Distract, and 1 victory point for Reckoning, bringing her to a total of 2 victory points.
And welcome back to the post-battle. Pretty crazy little battle we just had there. A lot of back and forth. Final score, 5-2 in my favor. Well fought, Monica?
Yes, very well fought.
So what are your thoughts?
Well, we had some very interesting melee battles going on. We had Lilith tied up with the Ice Golem for a while. I had this little ice demon up here that I was using to channel Rasputina through. And I kept getting... I hit the golem just as often as I hit Lilith, and I usually do pretty good hitting my intended target, so that was kind of a bummer.
It did a ton of damage to me though. Put Lilith in a desperate situation. Forced me to break off any other attempts to go hunting for game in or anything like that, and I had to send Lilith charging across the battlefield into Rasputina.
Uh-huh.
Which...
I mean,
I hurt Rasputina.
Rasputina's weakness is that she has no... The only thing she can do if she's involved in a melee attack is a 0 action attack, cast action. Because that's the only thing she has that's not a projectile. And being a 0 action, if she does not get the trigger to do it again, she's done with it. She has nothing to do. So after I did the 0 action, I was stuck trying to either disengage or just putting armor on Rasputina.
I unfortunately made the mistake of forgetting Lilith's ability to root Rasputina and keep her from declaring walk actions. Had I remembered that, it might have been a little bit easier because I had to throw a lot of cards away to keep Rasputina in place, and it still did not work as well as I needed to. Rasputina did wind up killing Lilith. Then I had to commit Negima to it, and thanks to that accursed Sub-Zero defense trigger, Negima was unable to kill her either.
I love Sub-Zero. That's one of my favorite things. Oh, I flipped a book for defense. Yeah, you can go ahead and win, and now you're done. I don't care that you're a melee expert. You have one attack.
Completely shutting down an activation after a successful attack really hurts and just stalls people like Negima in her tracks. So the schemes involved, I chose stuff.
Outflank and line in the sand.
Yes. I managed to score 2 victory points from Outflank by taking one corner and having it revealed. And then I was able to get 2 scheme markers down to give me 1 victory point out of Line in the Sand. I did manage to score Reckoning twice through the course of the game, giving me my 5.
I got Reckoning for 1 point. I think that's the first time I've actually ever gotten victory points out of Reckoning. I got 1 score on Distract. Interesting note with Distract, if you're going against Lulu and Lilitu, they have this nifty little thing. If one of them gets a condition, the other one gets the condition.
Unless
and
you can
Distract is a condition.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Unless you discard 2 cards, then they don't transfer the condition over. But if they are trying to keep those nice cards in their hand, they kind of have a hard choice to make. I did have points set up for Outflank, but Outflank requires that your model not be engaged, and he tied up my December's Acolyte in the corner over there with one of his Terratots.
Cherub.
Cherub. One of the little guys.
It was the Cherub. We had the discussion about the Cherub not having an actual melee to engage with, but engagement does work both ways. So since the Acolyte was engaged, she couldn't score the Outflank. Very close game. Fairly low scoring, as you hear, 5-2. A lot of back and forth, a lot of killing, a lot of repositioning, and a lot of combats, in my opinion, taking longer than they should have, thanks to things like Sub-Zero. Like Lilith had a problem where she charged the Ice Golem, who had the upgrade to give him the Sub-Zero upgrade. Lilith's activation got ended there. It's crazy how often that ability will stall. And I find that a lot in Rasputina's crew. She has a lot of stalling defensive triggers. The Sub-Zero trigger that Raspi and the Wendigo come built with.
Nope, the Wendigo doesn't have it.
Is that the Wendigo?
Rasputina has it on her card.
Okay.
There's an upgrade that the Ice Golem can take that gives it to everybody within 8 inches of him.
Okay, I thought
And
somebody else.
Wendigo and Ice Demon have the book built into their defense.
Ah, that was where it is. And then of course there is the silent ones that have the defensive trigger that reduce all damage to 1. the moment you succeed in an attack against them. Which then, since they have 6 wounds, means you have to commit at least 3 activations to killing them. Unless you have melee expert or free attacks or masters, things along that line. So, hope you liked it. Hope you liked the new camera angle.
We'll work on remembering to point to things.
Yeah. Please like, link, and subscribe to the Weekend Warriors, A Weird Place, ShieldBreaker Games. And thanks for watching. Please leave your comments below.